Good afternoon and welcome to Gungahlin Enclosed for Women's National Premier League Round 14 action. Round 13 action, I should say. It's Woden Weston FC, the visitors to Gungahlin for the Gunners match here. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. With me, Matty Moore. Matty, first thing to notice, it's actually quite cool today, warm today, isn't it? It's not too bad at all.
No, it's a brilliant day today. I think a customer went back a couple of weeks where we were absolutely freezing, and today it's a perfect day for football. Light breeze, but temperature's good, and kind of day you'd love to be out there playing again.
Yeah, I've taken my coat off. That's a first for the winter months. It's a Women's Premier League football, as I said. It's an important game. It's 4th versus 5th. Slightly earlier time of 2 p.m. this afternoon. Gungahlin, with a win today, would put a reasonable gap between themselves and Woden Weston FC. Currently stands at 6 points, would go to 9. Woden Weston would have a game in hand, but it's pretty important for Woden Weston to get a result.
Yeah, vital for Woden Weston today. Can really set up a charge into that top 4 for them today. They've got games in hand, which is key, but the games in hand don't count much if you don't start racking up the points and helping that drive home.
They come into this one off the back of a 3-match losing run as well. Unsurprisingly, when you consider the opposition, 2-1 to the Canberra United Academy, 6-0 to Belconnen United in the Federation Cup final, and a 2-0 loss to Canberra FC. So they've been competitive with those top teams, haven't quite made that next step just yet.
No, that's right. They've had some good performances, and I even think back to the Fed Cup final against Belconnen. For 30 minutes there, they really resisted Belconnen and actually created a few openings of their own. They came with a good game plan, and they came structured, and they came set, and that had a really good impact on the game. So that scoreline is probably not indicative of the performance they put in that day, but they're certainly well and truly in it, and if they can come with that sort of a plan today, there'll be questions asked of a Gungahlin team who, might be a bit sore and sorry from a hard battle last week as well.
They lost 4-0 last week. This is the third week in a row we've done Gungahlin United. This season, the sides have met twice. Federation Cup was a Woden Weston masterclass in the first half an hour, 4-0 up against Gungahlin and putting them to bed in the quarterfinals. That's how it finished. But the round 4 match is the one I want to concentrate on, back on the 28th of April. Incredible game at the Synthetic. It was 4-3 to Gungahlin United. They took the lead in the 3rd minute. They lost it in the 4th. It was 1-1. Pennyfield 29. Vandenbrush equalised on 38. And then Annika Shue put Woden Weston ahead, only for late goals from Brown and Artulu to see Gungahlin home. We hope something similar today would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the kind of football that, as a neutral, you absolutely dream of. And the characteristics of the team to battle both sides on that day, to battle through and continue to push and look for a way to victory was impressive. And a couple of key figures playing a role there. You mentioned Artulu there, who we've commented previously is vital in their run. And Shue, who will be involved, I think, today as well. She'll be somebody who can provide real punch to the team as well. And it'll be interesting to see what both teams have learnt from those 2 previous clashes as well. You mentioned the first one was a little bit of a surprising one-sided affair, but the second one was certainly a ding-dong battle. And today, what are the tweaks and what improvements have they made, and what footage have they watched and developed a plan for going forward? And as I mentioned, Gungahlin last week were very good value against Belconnen, and Woden Weston were referred as Belconnen the benchmark for that first half, 30 to 40 minutes of that first half of the Fed Cup final. They were right in that contest as well.
Whilst we wait for the 2 teams to come out, let's just recap what we've seen this week so far. Round 15 on Thursday. Myself and Dave Jordan cheated on you. We went to Deakin Stadium. Canberra FC 2, Canberra United Academy 0. Though you watched that match, it was a decent performance by both sides. Canberra FC just having the extra cutting edge. Yeah,
absolutely. It was quite an interesting battle with some key players missing on both sides, and you really felt it could go either way. And the way CFC were at the end of the day, just those little combinations and the ability to break through the line with a little bit of experience really made the difference in the end. And towards the back end of the game, you really noticed that people like the absence of Hayley Taylor-Young really, the academy didn't have that cutting edge towards the end of the game. But, CFC, good value for their points there at 2-0.
Yeah, Brittany Palumbi penalty and a late goal from Jamie Berkeley, giving Canberra FC all 3 points at Deakin Stadium. Yesterday at Canberra, shock of shocks, Belconnen United conceded a goal. Unfortunately for Tuggeranong United, they also scored 5. Kira Bobbin with a hat-trick, Lara Mustaine with an own goal, and Nicole Jalocka with the goals for the Blue Devils. Christy Helmers taking advantage of another defensive mistake. Poor old Jalen Murphy in goal was left high and dry with a back pass, and Helmers scored only the 2nd goal that the Blue Devils have conceded this season.
Yeah, only the 2nd goal that they've conceded, and both you could say they've assisted as well. So, yeah, that Belconnen juggernaut keeps on rolling. An impressive effort, and good for Bobbin to get a hat-trick. I mean, we saw her, I think, make her starting debut in that Fed Cup semi-final against CFC, and she's gone on to She's come on in leaps and bounds throughout that whole period and is almost a regular now. But, you know, hopeful signs for Tuggeranong, who we saw a couple of weeks ago and put in a good shift, and they continue to build a little bit of momentum. And if you ask people probably 3 or 4 weeks ago if Tuggeranong would get a goal against Belconnen, they'd say no. So credit to Tuggeranong for sticking to that task.
If you watch the video, and I don't know if you've seen it, I think it was 3-0 at the time, you can hear the anguished cry of Anthony Jagarenic as the ball ends up in the back of the net. And that's why they're such a good side. They're annoyed that they've conceded a goal, only the second this season.
Yeah, that's right, and they're big on the little mistakes. Shouldn't come in, because little mistakes lead to more little mistakes, which lead to big mistakes, which lead to big problems. So their pursuit of perfection is kind of what drives them in and above the rest, I think, there. But that'll give teams hope going forward that there are cracks. You know, we've seen a couple of times now goals appear, and you just need to be ahead maybe once. You only got to score the first goal and to change everything and the aspect going through.
Well, the two teams coming out, we'll look at them in just a second. Starting with Gungahlin United. Gungahlin United, Kelly Tanini is in goal. Ruby Gambale, Maya Ratalski, Maddie Percival and Brigitte Sander across the back. Stella DeMarco, the holding midfielder, Nat DeMarco and Rachel Corbett in front of her, as he has been for most of the season. Jay Brown, Elka Atulu and Ella Brown, the front three.
Yeah, good squad there. Absolutely, and a welcome addition back for Elka Atulu. They probably missed her a little bit last week, and Jade Brown put in a good shift, but hopefully cancels out a little bit the loss of Erica Pennifield, which is someone who's really given us some great drive in those wide areas. So we've now got Brown playing the role of Pennifield and Atulu back in, which will be fantastic for Gungahlin today.
And Watson's the referee, assisted by Harriet G and Luke Cousins. Gets us underway. Let's run the Woden Weston team very quickly. Lillian Gill in goal, Anna Van den Broek, Sam Briggs, Sarah Whitfield and Bridget Plummer across the back. Alex McKenzie and Tia Hayes holding midfielders. Brianna Maguire in front of them. Their front three, Sophia Christopherson, Shaquille Chong and Jemima Miller-Carton.
Yeah, interesting lineup there from Woden Weston, and Tia Hayes, who's come into their midfield. She's only recently made the transition across from playing boys this year too, so be interesting to see how she fares in Premier League.
It's Woden Weston in the black and red, attacking the goal to our right. And how's your memory? What's the end over that end called, Muddy?
That was the Magnet Mart Home Timber and Hardware's Bunnings Warehouse end.
That's exactly correct. I'm glad you remember that. Here's Christopherson. First chance for her to dig something in. Decent ball as well, and that had Kelly Tanini worried for a moment. Bright start for Woden Weston. Yeah,
absolutely. Broke down that right-hand side well there, and yeah, Tanini scrambling a little bit at the back, and they couldn't quite get on the end, but fantastic start for Woden Weston, and in a game that we've mentioned is vital for them for their season. That's you couldn't ask for a much better start than that.
Took a while for Sophia Christopherson to find the target, but when she did, she's continued to score at a reasonable rate. 4 goals this season, 3 in the league, 1 in the cup. Got a brace against the Panthers in a very convincing 5-0 victory in round 9.
No, very good. Some confusion with the line markings here, I think.
Yeah, they've got the AFL Oval here today. Pitcher's looking in reasonably good nick, actually. There's been a lot of talk about this field in the press this week, with Gungahlin United men's team choosing to play at the AIS, but it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, no, I must admit, Russ, I wasn't sure what we were going to see when we turned up, but it looks to be in all right condition.
I've seen it a lot worse than this. Sander. Touch for Brown. Back to DeMarco. Hopefully she was a little bit more forthcoming to you at training in the week.
Slightly.
After you gave her the player of the performance for Gungahlin last week. Here's Maguire looking to swing that one in. It'll be an early corner for the Wanderers. Does they mean to go on?
Yeah, interesting to see how they approach this corner here, because we know that Gungahlin United have got some height and some ability in the air with Percival, and you can see Brown dropping back here and Ratowski. So interesting to see who they look to target.
Alex McKenzie will take it. Miller Carton's come for the short one, but I think McKenzie's going to ignore that. He's tasked with most of the set pieces, the technician in the middle of the Wanderers midfields. Let's see what she's got to offer here. Whitfield and Plummett's come up from the back as well. Good cross that is, and it's a dangerous one. It's been volleyed clear by Jay Brown. A chance for Ella Brown on the break here. And here's Atulu. This could be trouble for the Wanderers, because Brown's got a fair bit of pace. but that's a good piece of defending from Briggs. And something that Mark Boyd and Sarah West will need to be aware of.
Yeah, it was the classic counter there, and Atulu's pass not quite coming off. And
well, trouble here. They played themselves into trouble. DeMarco tried the effort. Corbett goes wide to Brown. Stays on side, but can't deliver.
Yeah, the counter-attack will be a lethal threat because we know Atulu, she's got the ability to go on her own, but if she can bring people like Brown into the game with their pace, and once she's in behind, I'm not sure there's many in the league who are going to catch her.
Good to see her back, Elka Atulu. Missed last week's 4-0 loss to Belconnen, and they missed her, even though Jay Brown did a sterling job in the middle of the park.
Yeah, Jay Brown was good last week, but Atulu, just with that little bit of an X factor, that creativity where you're not quite sure what she's going to do.
Sent forward towards Corbett. Brown on the far side. Here's DeMarco. Looking for Nat DeMarco. It's opened up slightly. Tried to return the favour, but the Wanderers were in the way. Here's Christopherson. Looking to run at Sander. Got past her again. Bright start from Christopherson. Maguire runs into Ratowski. DeMarco. Ratowski got there just ahead of Tia Hayes, but it's tidied up by Whitfield. And Christopherson started brightly down this on this near side. It's going to be a long afternoon, perhaps, for Sander. It's Anna van den Bruch.
Yeah, two from two for Christopherson there. She's taken Sander on twice and got past her twice. It'll be interesting to see. And we've seen a couple of times from Sander have a slow start to games and build in and then improve her defensive work and then start to have an overlapping run. But it will potentially have an impact on Ratowski next to her if she starts to lose a little bit of confidence, which will open up that hole through the middle.
Interesting lineup we've got here. We saw Anna van den Bruch named as a right back, where she's played in a couple of positions this season. Looks like she's actually gone further forward on the actual field itself, which doesn't surprise us somewhat.
No, not at all. It's probably a little bit more surprising that she was named in the back half there, because we know that she's got the ability to create chances for those around her as well as potentially get on the end of another one herself.
She's managed 5 goals this season. Stella DeMarco wearing the gloves today. Not sure it's gloves weather. Mackenzie wins the tackle. Whitfield plays it forward. Picked up by Chong. Tries to squeeze it through, but Corbett was there. Now DeMarco. Sander. Now Corbett. Good movement. Here's Stella DeMarco. Brown's made the run outside. This is Ella Brown. And there's Jade Brown. Good movement this from the Gungahlin side, but Brown's little spin couldn't quite get her into space. But a nice build-up once more for Diego Iglesias' team.
Yeah, some nice fluid play and something that we've seen from there before. And you can just see the ability there and the respect that Atulu commands as she drags central defenders over to her. And Stella DeMarco holding that space, holding that balance, able to drive forward and bring others into the game. And that's what Gungahlin missed a little bit last week.
Whitfield hoiks it clear. Helped on his way by Hayes. Van den Bruch sends it forward, but only Maddie Percival back. Finds DeMarco. Atulu. DeMarco again. Good ball in towards Brown. A nice piece of defending by Miller Carton back there to force Brown off the ball. It's ominous the way that Gungahlin is just picking their way through the Woden Western midfield at the moment.
Yeah, it's starting to look a little bit like business as usual. And Atulu, again, not really sitting as a high number 9. She's sort of sitting just off and in between the back line and the midfield line there and bringing others into play, which is allowing that channel for Jade Brown, particularly on this left-hand side, to get in and attack. And what you'll probably start to see soon is somebody like a Nat DeMarco or a Rachel Corbett drive off Atulu.
Here's Stella DeMarco. Matt DeMarco's little flick to find her. The chance for Woden Weston on the break. An opportunity for Mackenzie. Just ran it too far ahead of her and Percival came back to concede the corner. Had a good season, Alex Mackenzie.
Yeah, not someone that you want to give a lot of space to. She's awfully quick, hugely athletic, and can certainly rocket a ball in. I mean, we know what she can do from a dead ball, but on the run as well. But credit to Ratowski and Percival there. Ratowski sliding across to trying to deal with the trouble, and Percival providing that cover, which should make Diego Iglesias very happy that his two centre backs are in alignment early.
Mackenzie's last set piece was reasonably good. Swung it into a very dangerous area. This is going to be the outswinger. Again, Miller Carton offers herself short again. She's probably going to be denied. Swung in towards the near post. Good header clear. It's going to come to Miller Carton though. It was Ratowski that got the nod on it, and Jay Brown wins the ball back, and here can Gungahlin on the break at Sulu. Chase for Ella Brown, but running across was Plummer.
And again, the danger of that counter-attack on the right-hand side with Brown. Tulu, again, not quite getting the pass quite right, and maybe that's part of the returning to football process, not quite found a touch and form, but two quality corners from Mackenzie, and something that Woden West are going to have to start taking advantage of soon.
Could turn that from Atulu. Looks to slide it through. Chance for Brown. Flag goes up. Missed her kick anyway, so she's probably rather glad that the flag did go up. But once again, a little snapshot of Alka Atulu and her quality.
Yeah, changed a little bit there. Spin and an explosion away, and again, Brown making really smart angled runs. It's not just a run straight in behind, it's a run in between defenders, which means it's harder to pick up the responsibility. And unlucky that she didn't connect, but maybe lucky at the same time, because it's nothing worse than putting it in the back of the net and the flag being up.
Sunday afternoon football at Wagga City this afternoon. They welcome Canberra FC. Long way to go on a Sunday. DeMarco's touch. Has it back again from Ratowski, who's a bit of a breakthrough season this year. Maya Ratowski from the back.
Yeah, she's been very good this season. A combination with Percival, as I mentioned a couple of times, is one of the best in the league, and they complement each other really, really well. Give a solid base.
Lovely touch that from Corbett, and Brown stayed on side. Good defending from Miller Carton, though, to take it off of Jay Brown.
If you're Woden Weston here, you'd just be looking for their midfield three to start getting a little more pressure in there. The channels that are opening up in the back four will potentially be able to close up a little bit better if they can get some more pressure on the two DeMarcos and Corbett. They've got a little bit too much free rein at the moment here, and they've lost a lot of balance. So their whole midfield is up against this sideline here, and there's nobody providing protection in the middle of the park.
Ratowski to DeMarco. We did mention at the top of the broadcast the gap between the two clubs is 6 points. Defeat today wouldn't be terminal for Woden Western. They'd look at their fixture list. Balcony United here next week, but then Tuggeranong home, Canberra Olympic away, Wagga City Wanderers away, Monero Panthers home. They think there's points up for grabs there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, the Belconnen one will be a tough one, but you look at the rest of it, and Woden Western, considering their season and where they are and what they're fighting for, they'll be looking for maximum points for everything, and hoping to pinch potentially a draw against somebody like against Belconnen.
And that would put the pressure on Gungahlin United, whose remaining fixtures: Canberra Olympic home, Wagga City Wanderers away, Monero Panthers away, and then it gets a bit tricky. Canberra Academy away and Canberra FC home. Come back to that in a second. As Atulu looks to line one up and curl it towards the far post, always drifting away. So for Gungahlin United, you'd think, all being even, and we're not dismissing the fact that they could get a result against the Academy or FC, but you'd think they'll want to get it done and done early.
Yeah, absolutely. You would think as they head into those last couple of rounds against the Academy and Canberra FC that they would like their finals well and truly sewn up by that point, so they can start to work towards their positioning, aiming for a top two, and start building towards that final. You don't really, as a team or as a coaching staff, want to put yourself in a situation where you are fighting to that very last week, because quite often something crazy happens and then you're on the outside looking in.
Plenty of football between now and the end of the season live on Bar TV Sports. Bit of a break for the Women's National Premier League after this week till 21st of July because of Kanga Cup and some other things going on. Both these sides in action then. We'll be here though, well not here, but Bar TV Sports will be with the NPL next weekend. Double header. Balcony United versus Canberra FC on Saturday, and on Sunday at O'Connor Enclosed, Canberra Olympic versus Tuggeranong United. So two big matches in the top four race. And Tuggeranong United playing this afternoon in the Men's Premier League. They'll home to Gungahlin United, and Riverina Rhinos picked up another point last night. So they've moved on to 4. And they're clawing their way back into the relegation battle, if you like.
Yeah, that's right. Well done to Riverina Rhinos. I ran into Woden Weston head coach Ray Castro earlier today, and he was not real happy with the result, as you
I
can
chatted
imagine.
to him as well, yes. That's one way of putting it.
But yeah, credit to Riverina Rhinos. It's quite easy to pack up shop and give it away at this time of year, and the win last week and a draw this week, and who knows, maybe it's the start of something for them, which would be nice.
As I said, in the Men's National Premier League, that leaves Tuggeranong United at home to Gungahlin looking a little bit anxiously over their shoulder. They've still got 9 points. They're still in a decent position, and you think maybe a win would probably do it for them because it'd be too hard for Riverina to catch up. Anyway, that's for the NPL for next week. We're looking at WNPL here, and Christopherson again getting away from Sander. Definitely having the better of that battle and earns the 3rd corner of the afternoon. And once again, Mackenzie will jog across to take.
Yeah, well done by Christensen there. And now start to wonder if, as she beats Sander, whether there's the opportunity, because Rutowski is flying over to provide cover, and whether we can look for that ball on the inside to drive forward and potentially get the striker in early.
Well, the sun's going to be a bit of an issue here for Kelly Tonini. It's going to be shining in her eyes as this one comes over. Not the problem that they've had at Gungahlin very often this season. Not when we've been here, anyway. Let's see what Mackenzie can do. It's a flatter delivery this time towards the near post. Might get a second opportunity, but Sanders there to clear. Miller Carton's touch in field. Here is Mackenzie. Good to swing it in towards goal, and Tonini should have that covered. A bit nervous drop there for a moment. Hard in mouth time for Diego Iglesias. But
yeah, you just worry a little bit there. You just never know when it spills and how quickly somebody's coming, and you don't want the first drop to lead to a second drop.
Nice touch from Nat DeMarco to Stella DeMarco. Sander, good pick that. Finds Nat DeMarco in a bit of space. Corbett's made the run forwards. Defensively, Briggs comes across.
And these are the runs we were talking about earlier, Russ, as Atulu comes off the line, and we're looking at DeMarco and Corbett taking that space in behind where she's pulled the centre-backs out from, and that's a real worry for Woden Weston.
DeMarco having lots of touches early. Stella DeMarco. Corbett, nicely done to Atulu. Looks to slide it in. Plummer gets rid. Chong, bit of an isolated figure up front. All on her own, and Gambale robs her. Here's Rutowski. Atulu, another one of those little round the corner balls that she does so well. Whitfield gives it away. Chance for Brown. Now Nat DeMarco. Just one pass too many, maybe in the final third. Just can't squeeze away through that well-marshalled Woden Western defence.
Yeah, that's one of the dangers when you play that short passing game and you're getting success over and over again, that you think you can get one more pass to make it that much easier to take the shot. So just need one more, when quite often the surprise shot is the best shot.
Hayes lost possession there. Here's Atulu. Briggs forcing her to go wide. It's a good ball again if Gambale can keep it in, and she has done. Brown, Gambale, just to force her way into the area and almost broke all the way through. Plummer was there though to clear. Likes to get forward, Ruby Gambale.
Yeah, we've seen her a few times overload on that side in the last few weeks, and got a goal very, very late against Tuggeranong. I think it was a few weeks ago, and somebody who's a really strong influence in that dressing room, and quite a mature young lady as well.
Swung in towards Lillian Gill. Comfortable catch for the young goalkeeper. Resplendent in green today. Always looks far brighter when the sun shines out.
Yes. And it's just Woden Western now just probably need to take a breath and try and get their foot on the ball and maybe expose this win that they've had on the right hand side a little bit more as they turn it over again.
Here come Gunners. Nice touch of Tulu. Now here's a chance if Nat DeMarco could get a toe in, but Miller Carton was across there and alert to it. Needed to be, because Ella Brown was in an acre of space if DeMarco had prodded that one through.
Yeah, again, the hole coming up with a Tulu dropping off coming off the line and opening up the centre back. You might even look to make a change there and say, do you know what, let a Tulu, when she's that far out, let her go collect the ball. Let's keep our back four structure so we don't open those holes in behind and allow those midfield channels.
Well, she's running Sam Briggs around quite a lot in the early stages. Free kick for Gunners. Can they test gear with this one? Plonked into the middle. Real chance for DeMarco. Free header from 6 yards out. Not really her forte, but she'll be disappointed she's not got that on target.
Yeah, got to hit the target from there. Nat DeMarco, somebody who, of her quality especially, you would expect to at least hit the target, but realistically bury that, and there'll be some questions asked in the defensive structure there for Woden Weston as to how someone like Nat DeMarco gets a free header. There's no way on the edge of that 6 yard box that anyone in a black and white shirt should be getting a free header.
Ghosted in unmarked, didn't she? And we're disappointed that she didn't turn that one in. She's created a chance here for Corbett, who's driven one at goal, and that had Gill worried for a moment. Got a deflection, and will be a Gungahlin corner.
Yeah, it's good pressure by Mackenzie there to not make it easy. So Corbett knew what she was going to do, and Mackenzie came and put enough pressure on her, and possibly was the one who got the touch to allow the corner. But Woden Weston now need to really think about who they're going to get on the ball and how they're going to get it, because they really need to get Chong into the game up front, because she's got some pace. And here I'd be looking to win that ball and counter-attack early.
Brown looks to swing it in, and it's a decent one towards the far post. One by Ratowski, and hooked away off the line at the far post. I think that was Briggs, who was it, back there on the line?
I think so, yeah.
But another chance for Gungahlin, and good header from Ratowski.
Very good header from Ratowski, and we mentioned DeMarco ghosting in unopposed before, and Ratowski's done the same thing, although quite a more significant presence and someone that you think they would have targeted for an early marking job. But worrying signs from set pieces. Woden Weston just look a little disorganised and a little unsure of what their roles are there. And you can start to see how narrow they are in possession. And given the amount of turnovers that they've had already, you might like to see, especially that wide left winger, open up a little bit more and try and give them some more room to play.
Well, Lillian Gill's not the tallest of goalkeepers. Good agility, but not much height there, and that is something perhaps that Gungahlin can exploit with those crosses. Here's Brown, looking to take on Plummer over in the sunshine. Right in front of Luke Cousins, the AR on the far side. You're watching live football on Bar TV Sports Women's National Premier League Round 13. No goals between Gungahlin United and Woden Weston FC. Here's Nat DeMarco looking to change that. Corbett hooked away. Here's Nat DeMarco again. Here's Corbett. Danger times here. Rachel Corbett on the right foot, and Gill gets a firm hand behind it to catch it.
Yeah, nice little 1v1 manoeuvre there from Corbett, who's a bit of a renowned futsal player as well. And good positioning by Gill to take it on the second grab, and looked very, very comfortable there. But the Woden Western midfield look like they're running sort of their own individual role, not opposed to a team role at the moment, which is a bit of a worry.
Corbett plays a 1-2 off of Tulu's knees. It's going to fall wide for Gambale. She fires it in. It's loose for Corbett, and she's hooked it over the crossbar. That would have been a bit unfortunate for the Wanderers.
A little bit unfortunate there, it would have been. And Tula will be thanking a lucky stars that was this week and not 2 weeks ago in the freezing cold, because that would have stung a lot more. But starting to get the feeling now that it's a matter of when, not if, Gungahlin will score, and Woden Western really struggling to break this block. You can see that they've almost set up man-to-man. It doesn't quite look like it, but here's the target, and this is why, so they can lock him into this wide area. DeMarco, good pressure from Brianna Maguire. Forces her to go backwards. Chong's the willing runner, but it's too easy for Percival. Tanini, though, needs to be a bit careful. Wasn't the best ball back from Maddie Percival. She apologises. Yeah, not quite. Didn't probably identify where Tanini was there, and sort of just played it with a bit of expectation and not purpose.
Mackenzie beaten to it by Nat DeMarco. Ella Brown. Miller Carton with the foot in. Nice turn from Mackenzie again. Can she deliver something here? It's a good ball in. Real chance here. And Chong threw a foot at it. Couldn't get a connection. If she got anything on it, may well have been 1-0.
Yeah, nice little spin and run there from Alex Mackenzie. She's beaten Nat DeMarco all ends up initially, which is a hard thing to do. And that's a fizzing ball across. And you'd think any sort of a touch from Chong in the direction of goal. And that was probably going in the back of the net. So really good opportunity there for Woden Weston and something for them to build off. And the question is, can they lock Gungahlin in that's happened to them at the other end?
Kanga Cup opening ceremony today, Maddie Moore. Another great week of football in Canberra. Best news about it I heard today was that Tanya Katsoulis, who does the canteen here at Gungahlin, she's running a food store out of Harrison all week. Come back to that in a minute. There's a good run forwards, deflected, and that'll be a corner for Gunners. She tells me hot roast beef and hot lamb rolls with gravy.
If I apply for the week off and leave, do you think my boss will hear it and I'll park myself out at Harrison?
Just park you at Harrison. I was thinking about popping out there myself.
Sounds brilliant. Great week, Kanga Cup. It's always fantastic. I remember playing in it myself, and it was always a great experience getting to play against teams from all over the world and across Australia. So didn't quite have the canteen quality, but still a good week.
Brown swings it in. Good one towards the far post, and there's the first goal of the afternoon. Met from close range by Corbett. She couldn't really miss. Great corner, great header. Gunners strike first.
Yeah, quality corner from Brown there and drilled it in. And Corbett ghosting in. Well, not really even ghosting in. It was just a straightforward run at the back post there. And we just said earlier that we really started to feel like a matter of when, not if. And Woden Weston in their zonal marking in and around that 6-yard box looks like it didn't quite pay off, and nobody was aware of that zone. And again, 3 set pieces, 3 free headers, and eventually you're going to pay.
It had been coming, it's fair to say. Gungahlin have the lead. After that bright first 5 or 6 minutes from the Wanderers, it's been fairly played from right to left, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, and that's an area that they're going to have to tighten up, because you'd expect there'd be more corners. And, you think 2 minutes earlier, not even 2 minutes earlier, Mackenzie's whipping a ball in that Chong could have almost got on, and they fly down the other end, and because of some defensive lapse, just a mental lapse, they find themselves 1-0 down.
Nothing hurts coaches more than goals like that as well, because they are defendable. Corbett just stood alone in the 6-yard box. Yeah,
that's right. It's one of those ones where, you cop it if you challenge it and you get beaten in the air, but if there's no one to challenge, that's a bit of a heartbreaker.
They've already shown that they've got some quality going forward. Mackenzie, Christopherson created opportunities with balls into the penalty area, so it's not all doom and gloom for the Wanderers, and there could be a way back. At the moment, though, they need to not concede a second of paramount importance. Here's Stella DeMarco looking to ensure that they do. Gambali wide. Back to DeMarco. Stood up by Hayes, who gets a foot in. We're talking about the defending, but let's not take nothing away from the ball in from Ella Brown. Absolute cracking corner.
Yeah, it's a perfect corner. You couldn't have asked for much more than that from a corner point of view. Right on the spot, nice flat delivery as well. So if you only need a touch on it, and it's got plenty of power behind it. So it's a great delivery, and something that we've seen with corners that have been a little bit hit and miss so far this year. But if you've got that consistent delivery, that's a big plus.
Had a text from the bear in the big blue house telling me that it was Jesse Rashard's back pass yesterday, but that put Murphy into a little bit of trouble for the goal. He's never going to forget that now, is he? That's it. It's done.
That's 2 pass backs for Rashard now. 2 assists for Rashard, I think, on that occasion then.
Maybe she's just getting a bit bored at the back there. Needs to stick her up front for a bit. If you're listening, Anthony, put Jesse Rashard up front. Here's Sander. I didn't like her, to be fair, all jokes aside. Very good central defender.
Quality central defender, and has been for a few years. And great ability to win the ball and great pace as well to run anyone down who manages to get in behind. Great ball.
Tulu, what a pass that is. A chance here for Gambale. Just skipped a header off the turf, didn't it? Otherwise, it was a wonderful piece of vision from Atulu. Here's Chong. Maguire couldn't force it through. Tulu reminds me a bit, in the language style that she plays, a bit like Berbatov in the way that she flicks and tricks and strolls around the field as if she owns the place.
Yeah, to her credit, she has most of the time this year when she's been on the park. Yeah, I can see that comparison absolutely. And turn some classic balls, and she doesn't have to be in the high on the line. She's quite happy to bring everybody else into it, but it's got that ability to beat you 1v1 or put something in the top bin. But counter-attacking aspect for Woden Weston's been not too bad, reasonably positive as they look for a foul.
Fair to say Anthony Jagarinik is watching. I can't tell you what he said in his second text message. It's a family show.
I'm sure it wasn't yes then.
Here's Sander. Steps inside. Corbett, the goal scorer. With Tulu. There she goes again with a nice little ball forward. A good one again towards Brown. Looks to turn Plummer, and she's done well to get away, but Briggs read the danger. And is back there. I think she got a nibble. She's complaining. She's conceded a corner there and a chance for the Gunners. Bearing in mind what they've done just a few moments ago, Woden need to be on their toes.
Yeah, they'll like their chances there, and you can just see a slight tweak in the way that Gungahlin went forward there. Tulu had time on the ball, and they're consciously looking to get Jade Brown in behind, and no doubt it'll be Ella Brown on the other side, but just in behind the centre-backs because they're just biting enough to come off. So you can see Woden Weston have loaded the back post this time.
Brown swings it to the near post. Might come through for a Tulu. And she'll be disappointed with that because she's got the quality to hit the target from there and the technique to do so.
Yeah, not quite what you would have hoped for, and a missed opportunity there. She's really sliced that and maybe went for too much power as opposed to a little bit of placement.
It's incredible, the body language there. It doesn't seem to bother her, does it? Whether it goes in top corner or it goes wide, just get on with it. It's a very laid-back style of footballer. Plenty of ability, though.
Oh, yeah, she'd be easily one of the best four, or one of the top 4 under 17-year-olds that we've got running around the competition at the moment. And there is literally nobody like that kid.
Stella DeMarco. Brown beaten to it by Plummer. Now looks to bring it forward. Here's Chong. 4 red shirts in this attack. Christopherson's come to this near side. Brigitte Sander comes across to win the tackle. Van den Broek was free for a moment. If Chong could have just put her in around the corner.
Yeah, just a little bit of tunnel vision there, and didn't quite look over the shoulder and see the oncoming runner, and that slight missed opportunity. Be interesting to see what they do from here, though.
Well, Miller Carton with the throw. Mackenzie. Possibly one of the Woden's best players on the park in terms of her technical ability. We've mentioned it before. You think if they're going to get back into it, she's going to have a big part to play. Good turn from Maguire, using her strength nicely. Here is Mackenzie. Crosses closed down, and she's forced to go back to Miller Carton, who needs to be careful. Turns Ella Brown beautifully. Put the foot in, and here's a Tulu. Can she pick a pass this time? Of course she can. Ball over the top towards Brown. Against Plummer again, and she's turned Plummer and got the shot away, but always cut across the ball and fading away from goal.
Yeah, great ball from Tulu again there. Got off the line and rolled it out. And good use of the body there from Jade Brown as the ball came in. It was spinning, and she's been able to hold off that defender nicely and turn and just not quite get the finish off. But just to touch on Alex McKenzie on the other side, she's got a lot of the ball, but Woden Weston look very still. So they've got to make sure that they work with those people on the ball and don't wait for them to make something happen.
Did I see a name on your NYC squad list? Mackenzie?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Dave Jordan provided it with me on Wednesday. Good-looking squad to take to the NYC. Antti Jagaric and Maddie Moore with the under-17s. High hopes for them, see if they go okay, but obviously it's not all about results. It's all about pushing those players to their next level. A couple of wins is always nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Whitfield goes early. Rutowski wins a header. Got a fall for Mackenzie in the middle of the park. Brings Miller-Carton into play. Brown did just enough to get a foot on it, though. Still not over. Christopherson challenging. Now Atulu. Just rather lazy stab at the ball.
See Mackenzie plug that hole that time, though, which was really good to see from a Woden Weston point of view. The central defender came off.
Nice ball forward from Miller-Carton. Finds Christopherson. She's got pace. Can she get away from Rutowski? She almost did, and a good recovery from Rutowski to come across and concede the corner, and that's a heavy landing. Maybe cop something on the end of the toe for Christopherson.
Yeah, again, in behind there, and not easy to get the better of Rutowski, but she's done well there. She's come back for a second bite, Rutowski, and fought off for a corner, and they've caused their own problems from corners with Mackenzie's delivery, so we'll be hoping to replicate what happened before.
Just out of your picture, Karatulu's getting some instructions from Diego Iglesias. So Mackenzie prepares to take the corner. What do you think that was all about? Maybe not to release it too early?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of predictability too with that ball in behind to Jade Brown, and don't forget that you've got that license to probably be a little bit more creative because she has that unpredictable level. So we'll see what eventuates.
Asking you to read Diego Iglesias' mind there. That's a bit unfair. Mackenzie swings this one into the danger area. Tonini came and got half a hand on it. DeMarco has it on the far side, challenged by Maguire. We know Stella DeMarco's not going to panic. She runs it out of play, unfortunately, for Gungahlin, though, and throwing in an attacking position for the Wanderers. And for all the half chances that have fallen at the Gungahlin end of the field where they're attacking, it's still only 1-0. Christopherson's touch. Here's an opportunity for Chong on the top of the box. Steps away from Rutowski. Shots blocked by Corbett, though. And here they come on the break. Brown clobbered by Plummer. Heard that one from here.
Yeah. It's good connection. But you could just see the little flick on there and just a little bit too quick in speed of thought there. But at least it broke up the counter-attack, which is something that they've had problems with Woden Weston.
It's been a strange sort of half, hasn't it? Because Gungahlin have played quite well on the counter, and on the other occasions they have dominated midfield. But when they've got down this near side, Woden Weston, with Christopherson against Sander, they've looked likely.
Yeah, Christopherson looks like their best outlet to goal.
Here come the Gunners. Chance for Gambale to swing this one in. Couldn't wrap her foot around it, though, and it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, you can see Gambale overloading again. But, yeah, to go back to Christopherson, that she's had huge success, and she's beaten Sander a couple of times and almost got completely away from Rutowski just before. The trick for Woden Weston will be how do they bring her into the game a little bit more, and do they potentially look to bring her in a way where she gets in between the centre-back and the wide defender, so she's a little more towards goal with that pace.
Her first goal in senior football was in a Federation Cup semi-final. The first in the 3-2 win over Canberra Olympic, fairly important. Full of that with a match winner against the Wanderers. They're giving this away, and the Tulu has blazed it high and wide, well over the crossbar. Good chance that for El Tulu.
Yeah, you'd expect it to hit from the target from there, and there seems to be a little bit of oh my God reaction from her. A little bit surprised that she's skied that quite the way she did, but that relentless pressure from Gungahlin in this high press from a goal kick, they've really targeted this throughout the whole half and are looking to increase that here. As you can see, some late runs and a change of direction maybe. That's good.
Chong brings it under control. Corbett takes it off her toe. Looks to slide it through. Here's the Tulu. Got goal side just for a second. And then lovely little back heel to Corbett. No one else had picked it up. Ella Brown. Good firm challenge from Miller-Carton, but they're giving it away again. There's a Tulu once more. The point I was making about Christopherson just before then was that she got a match winner against Wagga City as well, so her goals have been very important times. They could do with one right now.
Yeah, a winner in a semi-final goal. That's a good return.
You could score 20, 25 goals a season, and some of them might not be as important as a match winner, of course, although Haley Telly Young's 26 have been fairly important for Canberra United Academy this year. Certainly missed her on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely.
Chong tries to turn and get away. She's got a half a yard here on Percival now. But the central defender's got some good acceleration to catch up. Still, ball's played forward to Maguire. Bundles her way through. Chong and Maguire somehow recover possession. Here is Christopherson. Took her off the ball, though, and allows Brown to recover. Slipped by Corbett. She recovers as well, though. Standard solid challenge from Rachel Corbett. Ball forward from Brown. That header was only Corbett's second goal of the season. Doesn't get many.
Certainly creates a lot. Very influential in the way that she runs the game and pulls players out of position for others, though.
Tulu, Stella DeMarco. Great move this. Here's Nat DeMarco. Forces the save out of Lillian Gill. Good move once again, though, from the three front players.
Yeah, nice interchange of play, and Woden Weston just a little unsure of who to go to and when to go to them. Just holding onto that ball a little too long when you've got the opportunity to release the player in the wide area.
6 minutes to half-time. 1-0 to Gungahlin. Still anyone's game, although Gungahlin would be churlish to say they don't deserve their lead based on the balance of play that we've seen so far. Here's Miller Carton stepping forwards. Good turn from Maguire in the first instance, and then she's penalised for a foul that Owen Watson saw. Not entirely sure what that come from.
Yeah, hard to see with the both backs to us, but Maguire's starting to grow a little bit into the game, and Miller Cardle on that right-hand side there. You've seen her nip in and pinch a couple of balls in recent times, and starting to nullify Ella Brown a little bit, which should give Woden Weston a bit of confidence there, and that's that dangerous right-hand side where Christopherson is as well.
Here's a Tulu looking to take on Plummer. Gets past her. Still going at Tulu. Should win the free kick on that occasion. Here's a chance. Well, is it all ball? Not sure. Thought they gave a free kick for a moment.
Yeah, no, I think they have. There was an appeal that it wasn't, but hard to argue with that one. And again, a Tulu off in a corner, nothing much happened, but able to use that skill to create what either would have been a cross on goal, but now a set piece opportunity where we know how dangerous they've been.
Well, Tulu's going to take it herself. Goes to the near post. Good run from Nat DeMarco. Almost created an opportunity. Mackenzie brings it clear. Strides forward, and that's a good ball. Now the flag has gone up, though, against Chong. Well, for some reason, Harriet G flagged it. Shaquille Chong stopped. Owen Watson waved play on. Bit confusing.
A little bit confusing and a bit frustrating for Woden Weston there.
Very frustrating because it was cleared to the flag and Chong was looking at the linesman. So, sorry, the assistant referee, I should say. Bizarre incident, to say the least. Given away, and here's Van den Brusch. She's got a bit of toe as well. Real chance for Anna Van den Brusch. Hits the crossbar. With Tanini stranded, best chance of the half for Woden Weston comes with 4 minutes remaining. Firm strike from Anna Van den Brusch. Tanini was getting nowhere near that.
That was a great strike from Van den Brusch there. She's taking that on. She's won the battle with Percival. And that's... She'll be smarting after that because Tanini was, you're right, was nowhere near it. She struck it with absolute venom, and one of those ones where it hits the crossbar and doesn't quite take the spin that you want it to.
Mackenzie. Woden Weston finishing the half strongly. Mackenzie still one too many, though, to Brown. Sander, who I think it's fair to say has come off second best in this battle with Sophia Christopherson in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, and although she's put in a good effort, Christensen just every time seems to be able to get away with her that little bit of extra pace, and Woden Weston just starting to go a little more direct.
Chong looks to play it through to Van den Brusch. Tanini stayed at home. Here's Anna Van den Brusch, saved by the Gungahlin goalkeeper. Danger's not subsided just yet, and that's 2 chances in the space of a couple of minutes for Anna Van den Brusch, and that one was perhaps a far more presentable one than the one that hit the bar. Yeah,
she'd be disappointed that she didn't hit the target there. Well done by Tanini to get a foot on it as they counter it the other way, Gungahlin.
Nat DeMarco. Atsulu tries to squeeze it through the gap that wasn't there. Briggs ball to this near side. Christopherson Miller-Carton slides it forward, but there's no one home. Percival sends it up the other end. Sander. Percival. Now Brown. Looks to play it over the top towards her namesake. Jay Brown. No relation, I'm told.
Yeah, big staggered back line from Woden Weston there. They're not all coming out at the same time, so we've got two people hanging back, two people getting higher. And that's giving Jade Brown the chance to set a bit deeper and look to get in behind. We'll need to get that organised going forward.
DeMarco finds Jade Brown. Nat DeMarco again. Lovely little ball over the top. Whitfield's there, though. Now Plummer. Whitfield. All a bit tight, but she's managed to send it forward and ask Van den Broek to chase. Rotowski's there, though, for Gungahlin. Looking to twist and turn and get away from Anna Van den Broek. Doesn't give her a minute's peace and actually wins the throw.
There's good pressure there.
They'd rather waste it somewhat by going too quickly in Stella DeMarco. Last minute of the half. Woden Weston ending it on the front foot.
Yeah, they've come to life in the last 5 minutes and have probably had the slightly better of the play. They certainly had the better of the chances, and they'll be disappointed that it's not 1-1 at this point. But they've certainly looked to play a little more direct, but look like they're getting their midfield on the ball a bit more.
Swung in by Plummer. That's meat and drink for Tanini. Diego Iglesias, you might be able to have heard him on the broadcast saying to go quick. Giving it away again, though. Here's Mackenzie. Could she pick a pass? Try to thread it towards the direction of Van den Broek. Here's DeMarco. Closed it down very quickly again. Gumbale. And that's half-time, says Owen Watson. And the only goal in the first half, Rachel Corbett's header, looked like it was one-way traffic, but that last couple of minutes, only the crossbar and Tanini has stopped it being 1-1.
Yeah, it looked like Gungahlin had all the running there. Well, they did have all the running for the first part in the last 5-6 minutes of that second half. Woden Weston absolutely putting the pressure on, and a little unfortunate not to be going in all tied up. They've really built well into the game nicely, and it'll be interesting to see how both teams adjust for that second half.
Delicately poised at Gungahlin in close. Rachel Corbett's header after 25 minutes is the goal that divides the teams, but the crossbar and the Gungahlin goalkeeper Kelly Tanini is the only reason that that is the case. At half-time here at Gungahlin enclosed in the WNPL, it's Gungahlin United 1, Woden Weston 0. Welcome back to Gungahlin in close over, where at half-time in the Women's National Premier League, it's Gungahlin United leading precariously 1-0 against Woden Weston. A header from Rachel Corbett dividing the two teams. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me for the second half, as he did in the first, Maddie Moore. Maddie, saw some good signs from Woden Weston at the end of that first half. Adam van den Broek in particular, crossbar and denied by Kelly Tanini. Is that their way back into it?
It's one of their ways. You'd also have to think that Christensen on the other side, where they had a lot of success early, would be another really great opportunity in the way in through there. And it'd be nice to see potentially Mackenzie and Hayes, who's been quiet in that first half, start to combine through that middle of midfield, because Maguire's had an impact, but she'll need a little bit more assistance higher up that park. But it certainly does look like the two wide areas are an area where they can have great success, and if they can keep that back four organised, that'll lay them a really good platform to expose that area.
The other good news is the sun's still out,
Yeah.
and it's still a nice winter's day in Canberra. It's not got too cold yet. It will do. I mean, I like this 2 o'clock kickoff. Brings it forward just a little bit. Not a bad idea at all. Let's have a look at the two sides. Woden Weston out on the park already. Lillian Gill in goal. Van den Broek, Briggs, Whitford and Plummer was the back four that we saw named, but Miller Carton was playing fullback rather than Van den Broek. Mackenzie, Hayes, Maguire, Christopherson, Chong, and as I said, Miller Carton, they're 11. We'll see if they make any changes for the second half. For their bench today, Alice Johansson Cranfield, Annika Shu, Sam Savanu, and Sarah West, the goalkeeper. No changes for Gungahlin United. They'll line up as they ended the first half. Tanini in goal, Gambali, Ratowski, Percival Sander, Stella DeMarco, Nat DeMarco, Rachel Corbett, Jay Brown, Atulu, and Ella Brown. Their subs today: Neve Larkin, Sophie Spice, Courtney McCann, and Cam Jackson. Watson, nice and quiet first half from him. That's what he wants. Let the football do the talking. His assistants, Harriet G on the near side, Luke Cousins on the far side. Second 45 minutes about to get underway. Gungahlin attacking the end to our right. Still haven't worked on a name for that one yet. Got till the end of the season. We'll figure something out. Next goal, as a cliche says, is crucial. Here's Ella Brown. Looking to run at Plummer. And for the 1-2, manages to stay onside here, Brown. Decent ball into the near post, but Gill was there. And the goalkeeper comfortably carries.
Gungahlin coming out firing there with some nice combination play with Corbett and Brown especially, and maybe trying to set the platform to try and kill the game off early. Given what happened at the back end of the second half, they'd be certainly eager to re-stamp their authority.
Certainly will be at the moment. It stays as it is. Gungahlin stay fourth, but they move to within a point of the academy with 2 games in hand. Here's Atulu. Asks Brown to get after this one. She's quick, but so's Plummer. Happy to shield the ball. Mackenzie. Jay Brown let her know she was around. Corbett. Atulu dropping deep. Stella DeMarco. Corbett. Nat DeMarco rather. Here she is again. Knew what she wanted to do. Corbett unfortunately didn't pick up on it. Meanwhile, here's Chong. Chance for her. Maguire tried to force it through to her. Here's Stella DeMarco. Atulu. Stella DeMarco's continued her run. Real chance here. Nat DeMarco in acres of space across the 6-yard box if she can find her. Can't at the first attempt. Might at the second. Here is Nat DeMarco. Brilliantly done. Flicks it home at the near post. The sisters combine. Stella to Nat. 2-0 Gungahlin.
What a great counter there. Stella DeMarco picking the ball up and playing that ball forward and then charging on to get the return ball and overloading, and played that first ball into the defender, and I thought maybe there might be some angry words at the dinner table tonight, but she's recovered nicely, and that's a quality finish from Nat DeMarco. That's a nice little touch to the outside and a flick high above the keeper there, and you can't ask for much more than that. Creativity, fast-played football, and sets Gungahlin in a good platform for the rest of the match.
Very cute finish on the near post. Just a little flick of the left boot. Took it above Gill. And gives Woden Weston a mountain to climb. Brilliant finish. One of the best team goals we've seen for a long time. and something that they've been threatening to do. We talked about it off air at half-time, didn't we? That just that little bit of speed of ball, if they can go a little bit quicker, they might cause issues. A little one-touch passing.
Yeah, absolutely right, Russ. We had a quick discussion about that, and it's something that's certainly proven the case. You think their first opportunity to break down was the 1-2 down the right-hand side, and then straight there through the middle, but some quick change of play to get in behind. And promising signs. See if they can build off that, or more importantly, how Woden Weston react. That'll be the key thing here. I mean, they've shown the ability to get in behind and threaten. Can they do it again?
Without conceding a third, of course. Easier said than done. Percival's ball forwards. DeMarco beaten to it by Whitfield. And that's one for Chong to chase. Rutowski has got a march on the forwards. Tonini sends it up the other end of the park. Nice win in the middle of the field by Hayes. And Mackenzie tried to force it forward. We'll get a free kick there for the Wanderers.
You see Maguire for Woden Weston flexing her arm a little bit and spent a bit of time running around holding it. Just wondering if she's picked up a knock there, or hopefully it's nothing serious.
Ball swung in. There's a bit of a bandage on that right arm, isn't there? Keep an eye on that one. Here's DeMarco, who scored the second goal. Tried to get there for Brown. Plummer was back. Briggs.
Sorry, I was going to say, it'd be interesting to see from Woden West's point of view who might be able to stand up and produce a bit of authority and a bit of direction for the team here, because they're under a little bit of pressure, but they have had success, and they are a young group. There's no doubt about that. I think their three midfielders are all in and around the age of 17 or 18, but somebody really needs to just be that calming influence there, and if they can't find it on the park, they might need someone on the coaching staff just to help walk them through the next couple of minutes, just to relax and remind them of what they're capable of.
Spookily enough, that was going to be the question I was going to ask you as well, so great minds and all that. Or here's Stella DeMarco. Finds Corbett. Brown. Tulu battling. Briggs was there to defend once more. As much as an influence as Tulu's had on the game, Briggs has done fairly well marking her. Not giving her too much time to turn. Forcing her down a cul-de-sac on that occasion. Looking at the bench, Johansson, Cranfield, Shu, Savanu, the outfield options.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be looking if it stays at 2-0 for the next probably 5 or 6 minutes and they don't create too many opportunities, you'd think you'd be looking at Shu to come on and create something for you.
It's nicely done by Giel and Mackenzie. Matt DeMarco was interested. Popped up by Percival. Corbett. Gambale thrashed it into Bridget Plummer, who, to echo your comments in the first half, is glad that's not 2 weeks ago. Feels like a spring afternoon today at Gungahlin enclosed. Stella DeMarco. Rutowski. Nat DeMarco. Stella DeMarco again, and DeMarco's becoming ever more prevalent as the game goes on. Good win that bat from Maguire, though. Now Mackenzie. Christopherson, first chance the second half to take on Sander, who stands strong. Great tackle from Sander. One back in her column.
Yeah, absolutely. Christopherson would have backed herself in that scenario, but Sander stood up well there and won that 1v1 battle, and Gungahlin start to play with a bit more control again.
Bit loose that from Tonini. Chance for Mackenzie, for Vandenbruch, rather, I should say. She opened the body up and tried to send it straight back and didn't quite get it on target.
Did I mention that Gungahlin were playing with control, did I? and of course, another opportunity there, Vandenbruch, that's a third. And she'd be disappointed not to have hit the target there, because hit the target with that style of shot, I think it's 2-1 and Woden Weston are buoyed by that. But again, it shows that they're not far away.
Putting the pressure on. Trading 2-0 though. Reserve match beforehand finished in a very comprehensive Woden Weston victory. I think it was 7-0 in the end, was it?
8. I think they got
was
a
it?
late one, yeah.
Great result for them. Here's Brown running into the area, looking to square it across goal, but didn't get enough on it. Otherwise, Jay Brown would have been in for a tap-in. Upshot is a corner.
Yeah, good high press there from Gungahlin, able to expose the Woden Westons playing out, which they've done well all day today, but they've scrambled back well, and maybe Ella Brown could have played that ball a little bit earlier, but we know how threatening Gungahlin have been from set pieces today, so it'll be interesting to see. And again, you can see that they've loaded the back post with 2 extra players that they didn't have, where Corbett scored that goal in the first half.
Ella Brown with the set piece. Good ball in as well. Might come on the far post. A chance for 3. It struck the base of the post. Rotowski got a piece of it, I think, and so did the goalkeeper, Gill. And the woodwork combination of both out for a corner. Yeah,
good scramble by Gill there. And Gungahlin United, they've sucked the Woden Western defence right in from that goal kick. They've played it a little bit more central and a little bit shorter, and everybody's left the 2 players at the back, which has resulted in a clear opportunity. Well done by Gill to scramble across and get a touch onto the post there for the next corner.
Ella Brown has to make the long journey from one side to the other.
Yeah, you can just see Rotowski hanging out the back here all on her own, which would be a real concern.
Near post ball. Nodded clear. Sander sends it back out towards Brown, who may have strayed off sides. Watson waves the flag away. Chong got caught there, and she came back to win the ball. Gill, now Plummer. Good pressure from Matulu. Well done from the Wanderers. And a good ball from Plummer. Now here's Vandenbruch. Steps inside DeMarco, who tweaked something there as she went down. Still going Vandenbruch, but gives it away. And to a promising build-up that for Woden Western.
Yeah, disappointing end there. They combined really well to get out of trouble, and Vandenbruch spun well, putting Stella DeMarco fairly pretty much straight on the can. But disappointed with the final ball there, and they're the sort of execution errors that they can't afford to make.
Well, the player coming on, possibly the longest name in the women's game, Alice Johansson Cranfield, is coming on for Woden Western FC. Tia Hayes making way. Will that be like for like, do you think?
I think so. I think so, and they'll be looking for Johansson to get a little more control on the ball and be able to set and provide a bit more support there to Mackenzie. She might sit a little bit deeper initially and allow Mackenzie to go box to box.
Maguire brought down. Not the best of challenges from Corbett, I think that was. He just stuck her leg out.
Yeah, Hanson not afraid of a long-range effort either, which will be something that Woden Western haven't really presented yet.
Good warning for Kelly Tanini, if she needs one. If you just tuned in, you're watching Gungahlin United leading Woden Western by 2-0. Rachel Corbett's header in the first half. Nat DeMarco's astute little flick at the near post to start the second half. Off of a ball across from Stella DeMarco. They'll talk to each other for another week at least. I'm sure that'll be like you owe me one. Mackenzie to Christopherson. Good ball in as well, and just for a moment Chong got away from her marker, but Tanini was comfortably behind it. Here's Plummer knocking it straight back from where it came. Pressure from Vandenbruch on Percival.
It's good work there from Woden Western. They've locked him in. They've gone a little bit man to man, or player to player, I should say, for the goal kicks, and it's caused a little bit of an issue.
Great piece of defending from Stella DeMarco.
Good
use, holding off Maguire.
Good use of experience there, and you mentioned the first half for us that we know she wouldn't panic, and she certainly didn't panic in that instance. I'm not sure she knows the meaning of the word. She just casually uses some quality experience there, but it's forcing Gungahlin to go a bit longer, which is creating another turnover.
Far too calm for one so young. Here's Mackenzie. Has it back again. Looks to swing that in towards Chong, but Rotowski, another who's fairly unflustered for most of the time. Sander started the second half well. The fullback. Here come Gungahlin again with DeMarco to Tulu. DeMarco steps away from the challenge of Van den Bruch, and great feet from Nat DeMarco. Gambale. Tulu's made the run forwards. Here she is. Nutmegged herself. Whitfield gives it away. Stella DeMarco, runners out wide. Come in field instead. Here's Jay Brown, chance maybe to go in that direction. Corbett slides it through towards Gambale, well intercepted by Plummer. Woden Weston can't get this away at the moment. They can now. So Mackenzie smacks it up the other end of the park.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration, I think, there from Woden Weston. They've had a good spell, and now they'll really need to load up. There's just this situation every now and again where a player from Woden Weston just misses the movement of the other player and gives them that little bit of extra room to play like we're seeing here.
DeMarco to Brown, that's asked a lot. Briggs, Van den Bruch. Gambale steps across, sees it out. Another substitution for Woden Weston. Annika Shu, who's been through a bit of a warm-up, is coming on and will replace Shaquille Chong.
Daily office for Chong there. The lone striker role is always a tough one. But Shu, who's a noted goal scorer and scored the last time, I think he was saying that these two teams have met. So it'd be interesting to see what she can bring to the group.
Her only goal in first grade this year, that was. It's got a few in reserves. Down the years, though, has been known to bag one or two. Different kind of test for Percival and Ratowski. A bit more physical.
Yeah, and hopefully that means that she'll potentially be able to hold the ball up a bit and bring people like Mackenzie and Maguire and Johansson from midfield into play, or give the chance for the wider players to run off her.
It's DeMarco. Brown. Prods it forward, but Whitfield was there. That's a decent ball now to Van den Bruch to take on Mackenzie. To take on Percival, rather. Who stood her ground. Here is Mackenzie. Not on the same wavelength as Christopherson on that occasion. Sander comes in. It's been an absorbing battle, this one, between these two. Christopherson away from her the first time, still going. Eventually the whistle goes. And Sophia Christopherson looks a bit bemused at that one.
Yeah, I think it's been called for a handball there. One of those things where the ball kind of hits you as opposed to reaching out for it. But good battle. She lost the first one and then came through and showed some nice ability to turn past Sander and put some pressure on through there. So again, getting her involved will be key for the last half an hour.
Big day for women's football. Women's World Cup final tonight, or in the early hours of tomorrow morning, I should say, 1 a.m. Netherlands versus the United States. Most people, I guess, are predicting a US win. Yeah,
they'll be heavy favourites going in, and they've looked at goods all tournament. But the Dutch just wonder if there's a little bit of me that thinks they've just got the element of surprise, that they'll be able to create something and pinch the game. I think
be good to see if that's the case.
Now I've said it won't happen.
No chance. Ball sent forwards. Plummer's just smashed that up the other end of the park again. It might fall for Van den Bruch here for a moment, if she can take on the defence. Maguire can just step inside, but Brown comes in and wins it and could put Atulu away here. Not the quickest, but holds it up nicely. Does more than that. Finds Ella Brown on the overlap. Atulu. Briggs holds her up. Nat DeMarco. A lot of space for Stella DeMarco in field. Nat DeMarco ignores it. Looks for Brown and the flag goes up. Perhaps should have gone in field.
I'm sure Stella will be telling her that she should have gone in field. And interesting play there. Atulu able to get Brown. I actually thought Brown might take the game on there and drive at the first instance, but she's held it up and brought Atulu back into play. And the good thing there was that they kept the ball moving. It might not have been going from player to player, but at no point did they keep the ball still. It never stopped rolling. Again, more pressure put on in that high press.
Tulu this time thought she'd fouled Plummer. Whistle hasn't gone, has now. Indirect free kick. Not sure which way he's given that.
I think it'll be Gungahlin ball with Woden Weston players sitting on it.
It's already been a goal at Canberra. Tuggeranong United 0, Gungahlin United 1 in the Men's National Premier League, as you would have expected.
Yeah, you imagine the men's Gungahlin team will be smarting after last week and really want to put in a big shift today. There'll be some harsh words spoken by Marcel Munoz during the week, I imagine.
Brown swings that one in, complete miss kick on the far post by Percival. Might fall for Gungahlin. Thought about the strike. Still there for Brown. Couldn't force it through. Hour gone at Wagga. Fair to say that Canberra FC are coming home with the points. It's Wagga City 0, Canberra FC 7. Be some last half hour if they don't.
Yes.
Try and find out who scored for you at a later date for that one. Here's Ratalski stepping away. Good foot in by Miller Carton.
Woden Weston, they just had the opportunity as the ball went back to the keeper, so you saw Shu pushing on and pressing. Problem was she was on her own, and that gave them the outlet ball. And I know it's hard work, but that can make the difference if you can get touch tight. It can make the absolute difference between getting a chance on goal and allowing the ball to travel up the other end. Mix up with the balls here.
Get there eventually. Bridget Plummer with the match ball in her hands. 25 minutes to play. 2-0 Gungahlin. In the main, the second half, they've looked fairly comfortable. Maguire went down, no free kick. Here's a Tulu. Tried to bend it around Whitfield. Brianna Maguire seemed quite perplexed. She didn't get the call.
Yeah, she certainly asked the question of Watson, who was happy enough to let it go.
Corbett. It's a real scramble. Van den Bruch and Briggs between them came away with the ball.
And to be fair to Watson, he's been good all day, so he's probably right. Can't remember a call that he's got horribly wrong at all.
Kudos where it's due. Don't mind a bash of a referee or two occasionally, do we? So give a pat on the back when they deserve it. This weekend, obviously not without its controversies again. There was a penalty in the Belconnen-Cooma game yesterday, which was very controversial to say the least. Tigers FC showing their quality last night. 3 times they had to take the lead against Belconnen in the NPL to win 3-2 in the end.
That'd be confidence building for them, having lost their striker in the recent weeks. That
missed Nico a bit yesterday. Bit of a problem for Ratalski here as well. I think maybe she's got bleeding nose or something, and Maguire in her absence is real opportunity here. This could be a goal. Should have been a real miss there. What a chance for Annika Shu.
Oh, absolutely great work there from Maguire, firstly. I mean, she's put absolute pressure on Percival and gave her nowhere to go. Spun and won that ball nicely, and Shu will be absolutely devastated about not putting that one. 2-1 down with an effort like that and a goal with 23 minutes to go. You'd think that sets the platform to go forward, but can't praise the efforts of Maguire there enough to win the ball from a young footballer. That's absolute quality.
Well, Ratalski had wandered out of position to get some treatment on blood that's pouring out of her nose, and it was a real chance for Shu. Perhaps didn't realise quite so much time she had, controlled the ball in the 6-yard box and then got it all wrong.
Yeah.
But is that the opportunity that's gone begging for Woden Weston with half of the half to go?
Yeah, they'd certainly be hoping not, but it certainly has an impact, and you wonder what Shu's mindset is going forward and how she adjusts to the next opportunity that comes. And with Ratalski off the field getting treatment, it's a real opportunity for Woden Weston to press a little bit higher and maybe try and take advantage of the extra player.
Gungahlin down to 10 as we speak. Sander does well to get in front of Christopherson. think the first half, Christopherson had the best of it. Second half, probably Sanders. So honours even. As I say that, Christopherson gets past her. Good tackle, though, from Gungahlin.
Yeah, Sanders definitely having the better of the second half, and you just see Woden Weston starting to set up with a little more shape and a little more balance through the middle. There's Mackenzie, who might be just off your screen there, just sitting in the middle of the park, waiting for that ball to come out and be available for that change of point, and they're pushing their left back higher up to ask a few more questions to Woden Weston, so they are looking to drive the point home.
Brown finds a Tulu. Nice turn, as usual. Sander, just too far ahead of Stella DeMarco. Here is Mackenzie. Switch of play to Plummer. Bit of space for the fullback. Mackenzie. Good switch towards Christopherson, who's got in behind Sander here. Can she deliver something into the penalty? It's a decent ball. Tanini, though, was there to clutch.
Well done by Tanini, and the ball out wide. Christopherson with a decent ball in. You just go back and look at when Mackenzie span around. I just wonder if there was the opportunity to dink the ball in behind a Maguire, who'd be a little more central.
Brown chasing this one and getting there and trying her luck as well, and why not? Swung it into the near post, and it had Lillian Gill worried for a moment. May have always been drifting wide of goal.
Yeah, good effort by Brown, though. We spoke in the first half about maybe not trying to walk it in and having a shot, a bit of a surprise shot, and that's one that you wouldn't necessarily expect somebody to take on the run first time at that angle. It certainly had Gill slightly concerned, and again, it just shows even with 10 players on the field how quickly Gungahlin have got the ability to go from one end to the other.
Briggs. Gill has it back. Johansson Cranfield. Ambitious looking ball for Annika Schuh to chase.
You can see just there, Woden Weston just a little too far off as that ball comes out to Ella Brown. So Schuh would close down the centre back and a little bit too much room for Ella Brown to play.
Still no sign of Bratowski. Just popping out of the change rooms as we speak and bringing herself back on. They've seen off that spell. It's almost like a 10 minutes descent, isn't it? Just to stress it wasn't. It was a blood injury for Maya Ratowski.
Straight involved.
And as far as Plummer, who looks to deliver one in, and Tanini watches that hit the side netting. So live football on Bar TV Sports for you next week. McKellar Park, the venue on Saturday. Belconnen United versus Canberra FC in the NPL. And more NPL on Sunday. Canberra Olympic versus Tuggeranong United. All live and free on Bar TV, the home of grassroots sport in Australia. No WNPL, of course. We have a little hiatus. And when we come back, the rounds will be matched up, which will make it much easier for people like me and you, Matt.
Yes, absolutely. Won't deny to being a little confused as to where we're at on occasion.
Confused me this week because we had a round 15 game on Thursday,
yeah.
And then we're back to round 13 here.
You see Woden Weston putting a good deal of sustained pressure on here, so you'd be really looking to take advantage, but again, they've just narrowed themselves off so much that they haven't got that outlet potentially at a back post, and we've seen the way Mackenzie picks up the ball and likes to spin out and spray it to the right-hand side, but they're so narrow they don't actually have that option there.
Here's Schuh, who missed that glorious chance to pull one back for Woden Weston. Maguire, who created it. Christopherson, swap wings for a moment. Mackenzie lines one up from distance. Maddie Percival just stops the ball travelling towards the goal and initiates another attack. Johansson Cranfield. Now Briggs. It's a bit too close to each other. Two Woden defenders. Here's Nat DeMarco. Space for Brown to take on Johansson Cranfield. Atulu in the middle. Ella Brown the target. Stella DeMarco. Everyone stopped to watch that. And Miller Carton can send it forward to Vandenbroek. Mackenzie. Only picks out Ruby Gungahlin. Good pressure again from Maguire once more. Forces the turnover. Here's Christopherson. Maguire. Shu. Better connection this time and still fades away from goal. But Brianna Maguire made that from nothing once more.
Yeah, great pressure there from the youngster again, not giving up on the chase and asking some different questions on Gungahlin, which they probably haven't had too much of at this stage. But again, Shu probably a little disappointed with the finish there. Looks like Metacaro's coming to the midfield too, with Johansson playing in the right back, so be interesting to see how she can influence the game.
Substitution for Gungahlin United. Elka Tulu has done her job today. Courtney McCann comes on. That means Ruby Gungahl's gone to the right forward role. Ella Brown's gone to the left-hand side, and Jay Brown's come into the middle. All change.
Keep everybody guessing. And just even that...
Make it harder for us.
Yes, that's right. Just even that goal kick there from Gungahlin. Sander was left isolated on her own. If she'd been able to pick that ball up, she had a free run for 10 or 15 metres there, which is a worry.
Great feat from Sander to find Brown. DeMarco. Gungahlin strayed well offside. Mackenzie. Looking to orchestrate things from deep. Whitfield. Battle with Stella DeMarco. The Gunners player wins it. And then can't find Gungahlin. Here's Ella Brown. Swap wings. Corbett's ball forwards. Gungahlin. Lovely ball. Ella Brown's got in here. There's no one near her. Can she pick a pass? Swings it across goal. Real chance for Nat DeMarco. Denied by Bridget Plummer's block.
Great recovery there from Plummer and smart from Brown there too. It would have been really easy to panic as she looked a little bit isolated, but looked to find that player at the back post. And Nat DeMarco looked like she connected very, very well there, but full credit to Plummer to slide across and deal with the danger. And be interesting to see what happens this time with the corner. So we mentioned before Ratowski being left alone at that back post and trying to identify if they can get runners, but again, Ratowski's almost on her own. Now she's going towards the keeper.
Ella Brown with it. Swings it in that general direction. There's another header and another goal. It's 3-0. I think it's Corbett again. Unmarked. Mirror image of the first. Game, set and match.
Yeah, the old copy-paste there. Brown plays another perfect delivery in from that corner. Absolutely cracking ball. And Corbett, again, unopposed up at that back post and heads it in. Same spot, same goal, same delivery. Really is a copy and paste. And that zonal defence that Woden Weston seemed to play with that corners is something that they might need to really consider.
Seemed almost apologetic when she headed it home for 3-0. And any hope that Woden Weston had of closing the gap between themselves and Gungahlin today seems well and truly gone. Here's Ella Brown. Didn't look before she passed it on that occasion. Miller Carton sent it forward. Maguire loses out to Nat DeMarco.
I can't help but wonder, Russ, what happens if, Woden Weston don't hit the crossbar. They put one of those chances in at the end of the first half and they go in at 2-1 or Shu.
Well, here's Nat DeMarco. Stella DeMarco stolen in behind. Brilliant piece of defending from Mackenzie. It's still not over. It's Gungahlin. It must be 4. Somehow it's not. Jay Brown, and that surely should have been offside when Gungahlin sent it back. Brown swings it in. DeMarco with the air swing. Completely missed it. That wacky races out there for a moment.
Yeah, I thought Nat DeMarco returned the favour to her sister. They're setting her up on goal, and then a little bit of chaos. And you're right, I think Gungahlin was offside, and then all leading to a DeMarco air swing, which I can't recall the last time I've ever seen Nat DeMarco have an air swing.
In the midst of all that, Alex McKenzie made a great block to deny Gungahlin. Stella DeMarco, rather, who'd made the run into the area. Looked almost as certain that she was going to pull the trigger for 4.
Yeah, it was a great recovery run and made sure that she got back and took the line to goal, which was the important thing there.
Here they come again. Sander bursting forwards, exchanging passes with Ella Brown. Whitfield puts an end to that.
And what I was saying before us, you think about the two opportunities that they had just before half-time and the one that Shu had when it was still 2-1, and you can't help but wonder, and the coaches would be wondering as well, if we take one of them, what does that look like, especially now with the Tulu off the field. We know that changes the way that Gungahlin plays. Woden Weston's been far more aggressive in their press. And if they could have had that one goal, that gap and that ability to put some new pressure on, you just a little bit of what if.
That's why we love this game. Anything can happen. Here's Christopherson on his near sides. Just steps away from McCann and then just hacks her down. Well, you can see that Owen Watson, you may have heard it. Advantage played. Here's Plummer. Wasn't much of an advantage. Still going Plummer. And one wins the corner off of Ruby Gungahlin.
Yeah, battled on well there, and interesting to see what happens here. I mean, Woden Weston, they're leaving a lot of height at the back there, and with the Tulu gone, I think you can afford to release a Briggs forward to add a different dimension into the attack. But they've just got to be careful on the edge of that area with Nat DeMarco sort of sitting there unopposed. We talk about rest defence. You don't want to leave her alone for too long.
Alex McKenzie with the corner. Swings it in. Good one too. Stella DeMarco with the header. Might fall for Miller Carton. Maguire. Still going Maguire. Real force of nature when she gets going. Brianna Maguire. Chance on the break here for Gungahlin. Real opportunity. Plenty of numbers. It's 4-on-3 if Gungahlin can get away here, but that is a good piece of covering defending as well.
Yeah, it's well done by Shu there, and you can see her actually providing the direction to Briggs as well as telling her to just stay central, I've got this, and that's good leadership and good direction there.
Matt DeMarco from the throw. Gungahlin. Jay Brown. Closed down by Maguire. Been everywhere in the second half, Brianna Maguire.
She had a great second half, and
problems still of their own making. Real opportunity here for Corbett for a hat-trick. Went for the placer. Maybe she should have chipped it up and headed it.
Yeah.
Came into the game with only one goal to her name. It's on a hat-trick. Kira Bobbin got one of those yesterday.
You can see the energy levels from Woden Weston starting to drop off a little bit there. You know, Christensen break through, and Woden Weston, it was essentially one-on-one. Woden Weston were underloaded there with the back four set, and you're looking at the midfield, it was still coming over halfway, and that defensive effort, probably in the first 40 minutes of that second half, is really taking a toll as we see a mass amount of changes now from Gungahlin.
Changes everywhere.
Jade Brown and Rachel, no hat-trick for Rachel Corbett today. I think I'd be a little bit dirty on that, Russ.
Cam Jackson's come on, as is Niamh Larkin. Jade Brown off. And Corbett off, as you said. Change for Woden Weston as well. Samantha Savanu's come on for Anna Vandenbruch, who must be still thinking how she hasn't scored today. Yeah, not often that Rachel Corbett gets a chance for a hat-trick.
No.
Denied by Diego Iglesias. Just one more corner, boss.
That's it.
Here's Maguire.
It's always one more. It's like a great fast bowler. Just one more over.
One more over. Especially when your confidence up. But her job's done today. 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, well and truly. And it hasn't just been off the corners. I mean, the 2 goals are fantastic, but she's had a real influence in breaking up the play from Woden Weston when they've been able to string some passes together, and also creating room for the 2 DeMarcos to move into. She didn't always get the ball, but she made enough room to allow others to get there, which would be pleasing, the unselfishness of that style of play.
Mentioned Woden Weston's games to come. They've got Cameron Olympic twice before the end of the season. Tuggeranong, Wagga City and Monero. So everybody in the bottom half near enough. And that will give them some hope.
Yeah, it's not beyond them. I mean, we spoke before the game that this was important for them in their top 4 chances, and we said it wouldn't be fatal because they have so many games in hand. It was 9 coming in, and you look at the academy who's already played 13 or thereabouts, and yeah, it does make it harder. But the opposition that they have in front of them, after today, they'll believe that they've got the opportunity to go on with it.
End of the first week in July, and Cameron Academy have almost finished their season. In terms of fixtures, only 3 to go for them.
Yeah, so and that'll be interesting because you look at that ladder now, they've got 13, they're almost done, and in 3 or 4 weeks' time, as everybody else starts to play their games and pick up points, how does that deck shuffle? Where does CUA sit, in the last 2 rounds when everybody else finally catches up?
And assuming they do get to finals, which they possibly will, I'd say probably will, no one really wants to play them, the youngsters. They were very good on Thursday without their main striker, and Charlie Mitchell was rested as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do going forward. So you look at the academy, and you're right, nobody will want to play him. Hayley Taylor-Young being out was a loss for them, and there's a lot of those players that are going to under 14s, under 15s, under 17s national championships, and it'll be interesting to see how they manage the load post those championships. And the injury risk, as we know, is high. They spend a lot of time at Hawker, so that'll be key going forward, because people like Hayley Taylor-Young, and think of Bella Barrett and Jay Truham for me the other night was the best player for CUA on the park, and how they manage those players' loads going forward.
She had an outstanding match from central defence. Saw Hayley Taylor-Young there on Thursday. Said she had tight hamstrings. She's running around the field, banging the ball around, doing cartwheels.
Don't tell me
stretching.
that.
If you were Anthony Jagger-Inch was there, you would have been. What are you doing?
Well, Hayley, if you're listening, we'll have a chat at training on Tuesday.
She looked incredibly happy for someone who wasn't playing. Sure, she would love to have been out there. May have made a difference. There's one ball through in the second half where Sasha Grove went around the keeper that maybe if Taylor-Young had been there, bit of extra pace, might have been in the back of the net.
Yeah, she really is that X factor from her athleticism there, and she can really rip a game open in 10 seconds, and starting to see her game evolve a little bit more to be based around other things than just pace, which is good to see from her development.
Sasha Grove was excellent as well, leading the line in her absence, and fair play to Nick Brosnich and his team for doing what they needed to do. Got the 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. Tamaro and Galich at the back were very good, and Grove did have a good game and maybe released a little bit with Taylor-Young not being there, felt a little bit free to run the line, and Galich again was strong, and Tamaro back there as well provided a real ball-playing element out the back for CFC that they haven't always had this year.
Probably those 3, Belcon and Canberra FC and Canberra Academy, look likely to be in the top 4. Who will join them at the moment? It looks like to be Gungahlin, unless something incredible happens in the final 5 minutes here. They're going to get 3 more points, go to 24. That will keep them in 4th. More importantly, extends the gap to 9 over Woden Weston.
And it'll be interesting to see for Gungahlin towards the back end of this year, because at some point Nat DeMarco's got to go back to school. So she's got to go back to America. She's got to go back to college. And she's been such a key player in this drive going forward. And no doubt that Diego Iglesias has already factored that in. But that's certainly something that people will identify and start to look at what point she goes. I'm not sure. But her disappearing will put pressure on others around her.
Will be a big blow when she does leave. And a big ask for whoever steps into that role. Had a good game today, Nat DeMarco, as has Stella. I won't ask you to pick which one's been better. I know how much problems it causes you.
Thank you, Russ.
Let you off this week. Equally good, both of them. Great ball in from Whitfield. Here's Christopherson. Can she get away? A shot away. Ratalski came across and throws her body in the way of the challenge. Bit in the wars today, Maya Ratalski.
Yeah, and a little bit the way she plays. She's aggressive. She's really uncompromising, and her even, with 3 minutes to go, they're 3-0 up, and she's throwing herself into that challenge. Really speaks volumes to how her and Percival treat every moment of that game, which is why they're so successful.
Well, they want to keep a clean sheet. 3 minutes plus stoppage time in this corner to defend. Good one in. Shu was attacking it. It's bouncing around the 6-yard box, and no one in a black and white shirt took advantage, took control of that. Tanini let it go, and in the end, it's a throw.
Probably lucky to get away with that a little bit there, Gungahlin. Looked like there was a couple of appeals for something, and some players had stopped, but
good touch that from Stella DeMarco. Now, can she stretch the legs? Runs into Briggs. Whitfield sends it forward. McCann. There's Miller-Carton. Who wants it? Briggs. Maguire. Savanu chasing this. Won't keep it in, though.
You can still see Maguire there from Woden Weston, throwing what little weight the poor youngster has around. And she's been just absolutely massive in that second half, and somebody who deserves a big rap, and I hope she gets a big pat on the back from the coaching staff at the end of this game, because she's created almost everything for them in this second half just through sheer tenacity in that defensive effort.
Mackenzie slides it around the back to Christopherson, and she wins a corner. It's refreshing to see in the WNPL. You don't always see it in all levels of football, that 3-0 down, 90 seconds to go, and they're still busting a gut to try and get a goal back, as little as that would mean at this stage.
Yeah, no, it is pleasing to see, and that speaks to attitude, and that's what you want. And you're right, Russ, we've seen it at 2-0, let alone 3-0, people who just shut up shop for the day and start thinking about next week, but it's been an impressive effort.
Can they grab a consolation? Ball swung in. Tonini gets a fist on it. Good one too. Might fall for Shu on the edge of the box. Brings it under control. And then can't test Tonini with the return shot. Good fist that from the goalkeeper. Got good distance.
Yeah, good fist from Tonini, and another good ball in from Mackenzie, but it seemed like the runners weren't quite sure where that ball was going to be delivered. Nobody quite arriving at the same time, or a bit of confusion about when the ball was actually going to be delivered. But yeah, good fist, and Shu maybe could have taken a first-time shot there instead of allowing the pressure to come in, but that's probably nitpicking, to be honest.
60 seconds to go. Looks like for the second time in 3 weeks that we've been at GEO that it's going to finish 3-0 to the home side. Ball forward. Looks like Gungahlin had gone early there. Flag didn't go up, surprisingly. Thought she was a couple of yards offside there from where we were.
Yeah, well done by Gill, though. She set herself high and came out and really attacked that ball and didn't quite get the clearance she would have wanted, but even when the ball came back, had really good awareness to allow it to roll in and pick it up. So good signs there from the young goalkeeper.
Shooter Plummer sends it forward. McCann's across to defend. Into the final seconds of the game, and Gungahlin United looking to wrap this one up. The sun's well and truly gone in. It's been a pleasant afternoon in the north of Canberra. Once this one finishes, of course, you can tune into NPL coverage. A couple of 3 o'clock games today, including Gungahlin men's second half football. Shot from distance. Mackenzie got a piece of that, and Tonini watched that all the way. It was a good 35 metres out. Would have been one of the goals of the season. Is there a finish here for Gungahlin? Whitfield chasing back towards her own goal. Can only find Gungahlin. Plenty of shirts forward here for Gungahlin. One of them's Nat DeMarco, who got the second goal this afternoon. Her effort sandwiched by the two Corbett headers. Plummer. Easy for Sander. Bit of overplaying there, but Ratalski does well. Wants a runner through the middle, and Stella DeMarco had obliged. Maguire wants a free kick, not given, and Ella Brown is flagged offside. And is that a bit of cramp for Maguire? Maybe looks like the old calf's tightened up.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised she's got through a mountain of work in this match, and especially in that second half. It's been a good effort by her, and you can see both sides flying through, looking for Gungahlin, looking for a fourth, Woden Weston looking for a first, and credit to both sides here as they've battle through to the end, and they start to think about what comes next. Really.
Could be one thing worse than cramp in the 91st minute of the game, Matt, and that's cramp at 3 a.m. in the morning. When it wakes you up after playing.
Yeah, the tricky bit is to get rid of that cramp without waking anybody else in the house up. That's the hardest bit, I think.
That's why I retired. Brandon Maguire hobbling off, and she's, as you said, Matt, done a sterling shift this afternoon and created probably the best chance of the day for either side, to be fair, which Shu was unable to turn home.
Yeah, it'd be good to see. It'd be interesting to see how she develops in the next year or two as well. I mean, so she's obviously got that tenacity and that love for the game, and she's showing a little bit on the ball, and hopefully that's somebody Woden Weston can hang on to and start to really build around.
They may as well keep her off for the time being, for the last couple of seconds of what's left in this WNPL clash. Mackenzie, who's been at the heart of everything that Woden have tried. Savanu, nice touch. McCann closes her down. Shu steps away nicely from Rotowski. Savanu in support. Looking to get after this. McCann, though, just that touch quicker. And it will be a throw-in.
Yeah, good pace there shown from the Gungahlin defender. Sort of thought she was beaten and exploded back in. Well, there, a nice little turn by Shu.
Good little move, that. Savanu almost got her shot away. Well into stoppage time now. Gungahlin United 3, Woden Weston 0. The corner's been given, in fact. Must have gone out of play before Rotowski could hook it clear. One last chance then, perhaps, for those in red and black to get something on the scoreboard. Mackenzie swings it in towards Savanu. Unorthodox piece of defending between Gambale and Percival. Swung in, flags up. Wouldn't have counted anyway. Bridget Plummer completely alone in the 6-yard box.
Yeah, Mackenzie's drilled it in there, though. Nice connection, but well stepped out by Gungahlin and good organisation from that defensive corner. The ball came out. They'd already rolled up past the 6-yard box, allowing 2 or 3 Woden Western players to sit there and be offside. So well done by them.
The last seconds of the Sunday afternoon encounter. I was going to say these players have got to go to work tomorrow. Most of them will be at school, unless it's a holiday.
School holidays.
Yeah. Nice for them, they can have a lay-in. No lay-in for you, Matty.
No, mate, my little girl doesn't know what a sleep-in is or thinks sleep-ins are till 6 a.m.
6 a.m, absolutely. Fitting your pain. Here's Mackenzie. Looking to slide it through. Rotowski steps in. And off she goes. Still going. And wins the free kick. And Watson's enjoying himself so much that we're going to play another couple of minutes. Maybe his watch has stopped.
He's just had a sneaky look.
Brown swings it in. Nat DeMarco's peeled away. Gill's there, though. Got there ahead of the forwards. And Watson finally brings the match to a conclusion. And it's been a thoroughly deserved 3-0 victory for Gungahlin United, Matt. In most areas, they've been the better side, but they rode their luck at times, none more so than just on half-time. Yeah,
absolutely. Gungahlin certainly had the better of the play and well deserving of their 3-0 win. But, yeah, we mentioned it before in the call. What if, the back end of Woden Western's first half, they were very good value and promising signs. Gungahlin looking to shore that last spot in the finals up, hopefully, and Woden Western still with the opportunity there with plenty of games in hand. So it'll be interesting to see with the run in the last few weeks. Thanks for your company again, Matt. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks, probably. Don't know which fixture that will be just yet, but I'm sure it will be one that will have a huge bearing on the top 4. Gungahlin United have taken a firm grip of 4th place today. They've moved 9 points clear of Woden Western FC because a couple of headers from Rachel Corbett sandwiching a brilliant little flick from Nat DeMarco, provided by Stella DeMarco, has given the home side all 3 points for the second home match in succession. They've got 3 without reply. It's finished. Gungahlin United 3, Woden Western FC 0.